If you all can hear me, let me know.
Yes.
Can you hear me clear?
Uh-huh.
All right. I'm just making sure my last video wasn't as clear as I wanted it to be. So I'm using headphones today. How you guys doing?
We're great.
Y'all great? All right, all right. So we go. I'm gonna give people just a couple of minutes. I am gonna be going over a quick overview of last week. So I'm going to take just a minute just to run through so people that weren't on last week have an idea, and then we're gonna go right into some real time AI. So I'll actually be showing you guys right inside of the three different language models how they can be used to do everything from building emails to responding to emails, to creating a do list, to creating content that you can sell if you chose to create programs that you can sell if you chose to. I'm gonna be introducing you guys to the boot camp that we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be starting the boot camp. We were gonna start on the 15th, but now we're gonna wait to the 21st. And we will be taking off the week of Labor Day. So you'll see that near the end, closer to the end. I'll bring that up. And I'm also going to use some time near the end for Q&A. So if you guys can, in the chat, if you can for me, throw in the chat just some different questions that you may have, throw in some different scenarios or some things that you would like to do, because I'm going to go in there and grab a couple of things and do them actually live, because I want it to be different items that you all actually want to see, as opposed to just all of the examples that I already have. So I do have some examples already, but there are some particular things that you're saying, hey, look, I would love for one of the language models to do a to-do list. And of course, obviously, I'm not going to use everybody's examples because I'm not going to be able to, but throw some in there, and the ones that I see that I feel like are probably more universal, that more people will want to take advantage of, those are the ones that I'm going to show here. Now, when I get later on, before we close out, when I go over the boot camp, understand the boot camp is 8 weeks long. It's 90 minutes a week every Monday from 8 to 9:30. And that's going to be a full-blown program with a guide where you'll have prompts, you'll have everything from life and business on how to activate AI in your space. If you are looking to use AI to create some extra income for yourself, that will be part of the boot camp. You don't have to do that. You may already be like flooded, like I already have enough. If that's fine, that's totally fine. But for those that are saying, hey, if I can create some programs with this AI and market them based on some things I already know how to do, then you'll be able to do that in that boot camp, because we're going to process that so you know exactly how to do it, how to get people to do the design work if you don't want to do that on your own as well. So those are going to be all some things that'll happen in the boot camp, in that 8-week boot camp that we're going to be starting on the 21st of August. And again, it's going to be every Monday for 8 weeks minus Labor Day. That Monday, we're not going to do it on, I believe that's the 2nd, 3rd, or something of September, whatever date that is. We're not going to have a meeting that week, but every other week we're going to have a meeting for 90 minutes for that boot camp. So we'll discuss that closer to the end. So we're going to go ahead and get rolling here. It's 8:05. And Dr. A, can you cut your mic on for me real quick? It's so good to see so many people I know on here. Freddie, Sheila, Carlos. Hey, May, my newer friends like Michelle.
Hey, Coach, when's the next CDLP?
I don't know. I'm not a trainer anymore. I know.
Okay.
I'm no longer a certification trainer or field trainer anymore. But I know that there's one monthly. Sharanda Ivy would definitely know though. Yeah.
What about that deep dive thing that you were doing with Harold Branch?
What about it?
I thought that was going through the whole year.
It is. It's the new one starts tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, tomorrow we start on effective communication. And that's going to be a 6-week communication program for life and business. So you should have an email in your inbox, but you'll get another one. You probably get 3 more before tomorrow. You know how my email.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. So I'm gonna do a quick overview, and this overview. Oh, Dr. A, whenever you get a chance, I see you connected to audio, but if you can hear me, I am going to make you co-host, and the reason why I'm doing that is because if anybody else tries to come in while I'm talking, if you could let them in, that'll be great, so I don't have to keep stopping to do that. So if you could help me out with that, that would be fantastic. And I'm again, quick overview, guys, on just some things we went over the first week, because you didn't miss a whole lot of actual things where we were really live. What you missed last week was the introduction to AI. And the reason why we went into the introduction to AI is because I wanted people to understand so that they wouldn't be scared. In my years of training and coaching, what I found out is that when people understand what something is, it takes a little bit of the fear away. So if that makes sense, everybody just kind of put your hand up, or put your automation hand up, your electronic hand that you have there. But people understand things a little bit better when they know. I mean, the fear moves away, right? The anxiety moves away when they know exactly what it is. So we talked about the history of AI, which was the thinking and learning machines, and just an idea of what that means. A general language translator. So if you went online and put something in English and said translate it to Spanish, translate it to any other language, that would be a rule-based kind of thinking AI that already has all the information in it, so that when you ask that question, the answers are already there, because those are answers that are factual, that won't change unless things change. And then of course whoever created that AI will go in and update it. So that's more of a thinking AI that says, hey, we already know the answer because there's only one answer. So we created this system, you put something in it, you get an output. That's what more of a thinking, right? That's the layman's term of a thinking AI. And then a learning AI is going to be more like your cars that drive themselves. That means that they're constantly learning because the roads change. There are areas where the speed limit changes. There may be construction in a certain area, and that car has to change what it knows. So it has different. I'm trying not to use a lot of technical terms. It has a different data and programs inside of the setup that allows it to learn like a human would learn, if that makes any sense to you all. So that's what the difference between the thinking and learning AI is. So we talked about some common types. Rule-based AI, which is something that is like law, where if there's an AI setup that gives you answers on a legal situation, it is going to be rule-based because there's already something set in place. So they throw that information inside the AI. If you ask it a question, it'll put out an answer for you because it's a rule-based answer. So that's what that kind is. Then you've got machine learning, which is it learns from data and it can improve. And then you've got deep learning, which is it has just a higher intelligence when it comes to the artificial intelligence. That means that it can do things better than your general AI. So if somebody says they have a deep learning setup, which is, these are things you won't hear generally speaking. People don't ever talk this language, but I want you all to know so that you feel like you have a better hold on what AI is. We went over some real world examples talking about healthcare, virtual assistants, and transportation. And the reason why we did that is because I wanted you all to think about the positives that AI has done. Meaning there are healthcare systems that are using AI to now detect disease when doctors are missing it. They're doing scans that doctors can't do and will miss things, and they're catching things. So I gave a lot of examples of people who had AI mammograms and was able to catch breast cancer and this is happening all over the world, not just in the United States. So I gave some examples there just so people again would see the positive side there as well. Virtual assistants, Alexa, Siri, because we've already been using those. You know that when you take your phone and say, hey Siri, right? So if I'm driving, I've gotten into the habit of telling Siri to text and call for me. So my phone is on my dash and I say, Siri, hey Siri, and it populates and I say, can you text Sheila Bird? It will pull Sheila Bird's information up and then say, what do you want to tell Sheila Bird? And then I tell it, it says it back to me. And then it says, do you want me to send? I say yes. And then it sends. I don't have to touch it, right? So that is a real world example of how AI is working, and it's positive for you. It keeps you from using your phone while you're driving. And it kind of gives you that hands-off feel. And it's a positive thing that makes your life more convenient. And then transportation, self-driving cars, those, I know some people are scared of that hitting the streets, but it's coming, and that's another example, a real world example of where AI is kind of moving here, coming up in the future. And now I have to stop my phone because Siri is trying to talk to me because they think I called it. So the ethics of AI. So we went into the ethics of AI as well, because we wanted to talk about the 5 potential risks of AI, because although I wanted to harp on the positives, I'm a very transparent person. I didn't want you all to think that there is no bad to AI. So we did cover the 5 potential risks of AI, and we talked about the existential risks and the existential threats to AI. So those are things that we went over last week, and then we talked about the future of AI, right? AI-powered medical diagnosis, AI-powered personalized medicine, AI-powered self-driving cars, AI-powered education, right? And AI-powered creative content generation, where ebooks and advertising and Instagram posts can all be done through AI, and all you have to do is put a little bit of information inside of a system and say, this is what I want. It'll generate an image, it'll generate your content, and it'll even post it for you. So you can do it hands off, and you can post as much as you want that way. So that's the future of kind of where AI is going. So those are some things we covered last week, and then we did some live examples. I did a little decluttering example, and I wrote an email for, I believe, Cynthia Ware, on a lending program that she's doing, and I did that real time, so y'all will see exactly how it works. So yes, you can. Just responding to you, Sergio. All right, so now moving forward, right, we're gonna look at understanding the chosen language models. Now, there are hundreds of language models, guys. So when I'm talking about ChatGPT, Google Bard, and Bing, those are only 3. The reason why I chose those 3 is because right now they're the gorillas in the room, right? That can change at any time. It's AI. So we're not going over any AI apps today. We're talking about the general language models, because before we start talking about apps and all of those are things that I'm gonna talk about in the boot camp, where I'm gonna show you guys different apps that you can use to do everything from create images to create music, to clone yourself, to do all of those things. All that'll be in the boot camp. Right now, it's just about the general language model so that we know how to generally use AI. And I know that Microsoft, Bing's AI, we know that that's going to stay a huge component because it's Microsoft. Bard is by Google, so we know that that's going to stay huge because they're the #1 search engine. They own, it's Google, and then they own YouTube as well. And then ChatGPT, which is OpenAI, is one of the biggest players as well. And ChatGPT is backed by Microsoft. So even though Microsoft has Bing AI, it has infused billions of dollars into ChatGPT. So if you're using ChatGPT 4, which is the paid version, when you're using the search part of it, you're actually using Microsoft Bing. That's who's doing that search. So I'm going to mention those 3. I'm going to show them to you. I've sent about 3 or 4 emails showing you how to log into it. So hopefully you open those emails already, and you already have those particular language models on your computer. If you have them on your phone, that's good. But for the sake of what we're doing now, I want you to have them on your computer, simply because it's easier to use. You can look at the side panel where you can hold all of your conversations and all of your prompts that you're having there, and you can go back to those and continue the conversation going in that sense. So ChatGPT, Google Bard, and Bing. So there's an email that you should have received about 5 minutes before we started. So if you get a chance, if you can't do it right now, go back to it. There's going to be 3 links that allow you to click on them so that you can go in and set up your account. All 3 of these are free. None of this, what I'm talking about, is any paid version. There is a paid version of ChatGPT, but I'm not going to use the paid version today, so that everything I do, you all know that y'all can do with the version that's not the paid version. So until you get into more complicated things and using the apps the plugins that ChatGPT uses, you don't need the paid version. When you decide to pay for it, it's $20 a month. And when I tell you it's worth it, it's totally worth it. I do have both versions, but I'm only going to practice on the free version today, so that everything that I do, you all can do when you guys aren't on here anymore, if that makes sense. All right. So we're going to move into a couple of different topics. which are going to be more layman type things about the language models. So I'm going to start with ChatGPT. That is probably the most famous, the one that people normally do videos about and talk about more often. Right now, as of the 7th, I think it's the 7th, right? The 7th of August, I use Google Bard's AI more than I use ChatGPT. And I'll let you know why, because I'll show you some examples of what I'm doing with it so you all will know exactly why I'm doing that. But ChatGPT is still always in my, in my address bar up there. I always have all three of them up there, simply because you're going to see during these examples that sometimes you have to use one or the other because the other ones don't work. So when I want to review an image, when I want to summarize something that's maybe a YouTube video or a website, I use Bing, because Bing can read the link and read the link to the video and review that video and give me feedback. ChatGPT and Bard, sometimes it will work, sometimes it'll tell you that it can't do it. So the reason why you should have more than one is so that you'll learn to do different things. And I'm gonna show you some examples again live where I asked it to do some things and it didn't work. And I had to go to another one of the language models and ask it. And then when I asked it, it did exactly what I needed it to do. So it's still always in the experimental stage, but there's a lot you can do with it right now today. So let's talk about using it properly. So communicating with your language model. This is going to be very important. I want you guys to jot this down. The language models that we're using, you want to talk to them like a human. And I mean truly like a human. And you'll see why as I go through the steps. Do not talk to it like a robot. Do not talk to it like you talk to your computer. Talk to it like a human, because that's how it responds. The more you talk to it, I literally tell my AI, thank you. I literally tell my AI, please. Every conversation that you have, every thread that you have, what happens with it is it takes that information in and it's creating a character for itself. So much so that if Willie Tolbert literally took 10 emails that he had sent over the last 2 months and put them into ChatGPT and said, I am Willie Tolbert. I'm going to put these emails in so that you understand how I write emails. And then he put them in there. Drop those in there. Now he can say, I want you to write an email and respond to this person who sent me an email. That AI is now going to respond to that email like Willie would, because it has now reviewed the 10 emails that he put in the system. Does that make sense? So every single thing is like a sponge. So everything that you're asking it to do, right, it remembers it along the line. So keep that in mind when you're talking to it. So if anybody has an actual virtual assistant, you know, the more detailed you give that, the more detailed information you give that virtual assistant, the better they do their job, right? It's the same thing with AI. So communicating with your language, use natural language. That means that no slang, no ebonics, right? We always talk to it in natural language that's dictionary language, because that's what it understands, because that's how it was created, right? So I want you, when you're talking to it, and you can talk to it with Google Bard, you can literally hit the microphone and speak your prompt, and then it will come back with the result. With ChatGPT and with Bing, you have to type it in, which is totally fine. It's even bad that we're so far in the future that I have to say, you know, you have to type sometimes, right? But when you type inside those AI systems, make sure you're using proper English, make sure you're using natural language that anybody would understand. Be very specific. You're going to see when I give you guys examples and I type them up, that they're going to be very specific examples. The more specific you make the examples, the prompts, we call it prompt, because this is all prompt engineering, right? The more specific we make it, the better it's going to respond, because it's going to understand it better. AI has conversational memory. That means that when you start a thread with your AI, even when you're 9 threads down, it's still remembering what you said in the first thread. So you don't have to continue saying the same things to it for it to remember. So as I plug things in here, plug prompts in, you're going to see that I don't have to say again, I don't have to role play again. I don't have to choose tonality again unless I'm going to change my tonality. I don't have to do any of those until I want to make a change because it remembers what I put in there in the beginning. So conversational memory. AI is sometimes confidently wrong. So keep that in mind, right? Jot that down in your notes. AI will give you the wrong answer sometimes just as confidently as it gave you the right answer. So it's really important when you are using AI to somewhat understand what you're doing, because if you say, give me a meal plan for a person looking to lose 100 pounds, and it gives you an answer and something in there is wrong, you should be able to catch it because you understand meal plans yourself. You're only getting it to write it for you because it's taking away that labor. You don't want AI to think for you when you have no idea what you're doing. Does that make sense to everybody? So make sure you have an understanding of what you're doing, because if you get the wrong answer and you don't know it's the wrong answer, you're gonna have a problem, right? If you're doing something that you're selling. Also, you can do what a lot of others are doing, which is create something and then have somebody review it. So I have certain products that I sell through my training company where AI creates it, and then I have somebody who's in that field actually reviews it for me, and then I pay them to review it. Is that fair? So because I may not know the correct answer, but that person will, because that's their industry, because my company sells things that I don't actually do. So in that case, somebody else reviews it, so I pay them to do it. That's why I do it, because I don't understand it. Fair? So now let's move into assigning roles, right? Assigning roles. So you're gonna see me do all of these when I prompt engineer. Assigning roles means you want that AI language model to be what you're asking it to be. So if I'm going to ask it a question, or ask it to do something for me, let's take fitness. If I want to create a workout plan for somebody, I'm going to prompt that AI by saying, you are a fitness trainer, right? You are a personal trainer. That is me assigning a role to AI before I ask it to do something, so that it now responds as if it is that. So assigning roles is going to be important. So you are a business consultant. That's what you're gonna. That will be a prompt that you would use before you ask it to give you some information for business. So if you own a business consultancy and you're going to have AI doing things for you, that's going to now be turned over to your customers. Excuse me, guys, let me let somebody in there. That's going to be turned over into your customers. What you're going to do is you're going to say, you are a business consultant. You're going to start that prompt with that. Another way to start that prompt, if it was, you're going to ask them questions about a daycare, right? You own 2 daycares in South Carolina. That's how I would start that prompt, right? So you own 2 daycares in South Carolina, and then I'm going to continue on to ask that AI to do what I need it to do. But what am I doing first? I'm turning it into the thing that would answer that question the best. I'm turning it into the guru that I need to respond or create this particular content from me, or answer an email, or create a to-do list, or make a chart of something that I may need, right? If this is all making sense, guys, put a yes in the chat, right? Put a yes in the chat if I'm not going too fast and if this is all making sense. So assigning tonality. Assigning tonality. That means you can make it respond aggressively. You can make it respond empathetic. You can make it respond as a persona, which I'm gonna touch on that next. I'm not gonna use that in this example when I talk about personas. You can make it respond like you're disappointed. So you always want to put that in your prompt. So when I go to do these prompts that I'm gonna do for you, I'm gonna call this out as I do it. I'm doing tonality right now. I'm doing a persona right now. So that you got it, this will all makes a little bit more sense when I'm actually laying this out for you. So, example on tonality, right? So if I want to write an email with a sense of urgency, that's the tonality. So if I'm responding to an email and it's a sense of urgency, or I'm sending an email for a program that I may be selling and the deadline is coming up in 2 days, I'm going to put at the top of that email tonality, sense of urgency. Or I may put that inside the email. So I'll say, I am a business coach, and I am conducting a boot camp in the next 2 weeks, and I would like to create an email urging people to get enrolled before the deadline. Can you please create this email with a sense of urgency? I've now added that tonality to the prompt. And now when it creates that email, it's going to have in its language a sense of urgency. Is this making sense? So tonality is important, right? So you're going to assign roles, you're going to do tonality. You can also do personas, which means that you can say, act as if you're a particular person, right? So let's say I say, I'm gonna do persona and role assignment at the same time. You are a talk show host. I would like you to answer this prompt as if you are Oprah Winfrey. I have two people that I need to interview with these two different situations. What will be a list of questions to ask these individuals for my talk show, and ask them as if you're asking as Oprah Winfrey? It will now list those questions based on information that it can pull on how Oprah Winfrey have dealt with those situations before, right? So I've assigned it to role and I've given it a persona. Not only an industry, right? Not only a talk show host, which would be the role assignment, but the persona of Oprah Winfrey. Is that, you guys got that? So put a 2 in the chat if that makes sense. So remember, what are we doing? Communicating using natural language. We're being specific. We're remembering that it remembers our conversation, right? It can be wrong sometimes. You are assigning a role. You are assigning a persona. You are creating a tonality or assigning the tonality all within this prompt engineering so that you get the best response when you do that, right? Another part of persona or tonality, I'm not sure which one this falls under, but I'm going to talk about it. Whenever you are writing, you want something to come back or to be explained in a way so that it's in layman terms, right? Or laywoman terms, if that's the thing, right? Is for you to say things like this. I'm setting up a prompt and I say, you are a biochemical engineer. You are looking at a formula right now, and then I'm going to drop the formula maybe in parentheses or something so it knows the formula that I'm talking about. This formula is very complicated for everyday people. Can you please explain to me what this formula means and explain it to me like you're talking to a 10-year-old? When I say explain it to me like you're talking to a 10-year-old, I am now applying, I don't want to say persona, I'm applying on an educational level. The way that it delivers this information to me, it's going to deliver it to me at an educational level that's not complicated, if that's fair, right? We're gonna put it on the lower on eye level so that everybody can reach it, right? Yes or yes, put a 3 in the chat if that makes sense. So when you're doing this, it is so that you can understand things, or maybe so because you're sending an email out. Maybe you're sending an email out to somebody and the subject line is a bit complicated, and you say, when you're writing this email, write this email so that a 10-year-old would understand it. You write that email, you send it out, and when it goes out, it's a little less complicated, and it's going to have some more common words, and it's going to have some explanations in there. And I've done this, so I know that it does work this way. So that's another part of how you would do that. So another part of doing this correctly, right? And these are all things we need to know before we get started, right? So that we're not just jumping in there and just typing things. Is one of the key ways you want to use a language model in the beginning, and I'm assuming that most of you all here are somewhat beginners in doing this, right? Is summarizing. I want you guys to really, like, if you're writing on something, circle summarize. Summarizing is going to get you very far. You can use AI to summarize anything. I can literally go in, which I will when I practice here, when I do some real time. I can say, there's a book written by James Clear by the name of Atomic Habits. This book is about creating positive habits. Can you please pull this book and summarize this book for me in a few paragraphs, in a few bullet points? And when I do that, it is now going to do that for me, and I can do that with anything, right? So when I show you examples live, I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that with a link to an article. I'm going to do it with a video. I saw my good friend, I don't know if he's on right now because I'm not looking at the list of people that's here, but my good friend Danny Katoa registered for this. So I was pulling some information on Danny Katoa, who I love, and I pulled a video of Danny Katoa, which I'm going to show you how I did that. And I asked it to summarize a video of Danny Katoa when he did a presentation on YouTube when he earned a certain income level in a network marketing company that he's a part of, which is called Legal Shield. I pulled that video, used that link, and I said, please summarize this link to let me know what's in this video so I don't have to watch it. And it summarized that for me. You can summarize anything. I can summarize an image if I use Bing. It's Bing or Bing. I'll show you when I do it. One of them allows me to upload an image, and then I can actually summarize that image. So summarizing things are a really great way to learn things quickly, to shorten the time you spend on something, right? You can take an article that might be 4 or 5 pages, and you can dump that. If it's something online, you can use the link. If it's an actual article like a PDF, you can literally copy the PDF, just open up another window on your computer, copy it, drop the language inside the prompt and say, can you summarize this? And then it will summarize that entire article and let you know what the hot points are in that article, right? Put a 4 in the chat if that makes sense. So summarize is a great way to start practicing with AI so that you learn how to use it in so many different positive ways there as well. So, all right, so now that I've said all of that, so when I'm doing certain things, you guys aren't, what is he doing? Why is he saying this? Why is he putting that in there? Why did you tell it to do this? I wanted to go over those things first before I started doing some live examples so you guys would understand exactly why I tell it to do, I give it different prompts. And what you will find with AI is that the person with the best prompts win. And the reason why Dr. A or Willie Tober or Cynthia Ware or Estella Blake or Carlos Berg, the reason why they can all work on the same project and have different responses and have different setups is because of how they prompt AI to answer that question and what AI they're actually using that they're prompting in the first place. Is that fair? So I talked a little bit about ChatGPT, but I'm going to open up each one and give some examples. And when I'm in there, I'm going to explain certain things about it while I'm in there. That way you're looking at it and I'm not talking about one of the language models and you can't see it. So I'm going to talk about each language model while I'm in that language model so that it all makes a little bit more sense for everybody. So the first one I'm going to go to is going to be ChatGPT. So if you guys give me just 1 second, I am going to share my screen. And if this is helpful so far, put a 5 in the chat. I want to make sure that everybody's able to keep up with what we're doing here. And this is all clear for everybody. So let's do this. Let's share screen. And I am going to share this screen. All right, now excuse my mess. But I gotta have all these tabs open because of what I'm doing here. So let me see. I'm trying to clear my my screen here, so because I'm seeing everybody and I don't want to see everybody. No offense. All right, so ChatGPT. Now you got, let me see a head nod or something. Can y'all guys see a nod, head nod or hand raise? Put a 6 in the chat if y'all can. I see the chat going up, I think.
We see it. We can see
Okay,
it.
good. Thank you. All right, so this is ChatGPT. If you've used the links that I gave you guys in the email, you probably have logged in and you see it already. This box over here on the left, this is I can open this sidebar. When I open this sidebar, if you see your name over here, because obviously your name is over there because you're probably one of my coaching clients, so I'm doing some things with you. So it's not gonna have any of your business there, so don't worry about it. But I'm gonna open this sidebar just so you all will see it, and I'm gonna close it back. Whenever you're creating prompts inside of ChatGPT, they'll be over here on the left-hand side. So, right, so, and you can edit these to say what you want. And that's something that a lot of people don't know that you can do. You can organize these by labeling what they are, because ChatGPT will give you a name for that particular prompt that you started, but I always change the name so that I know how to go back to it, if that makes sense. So they'll always be here on your left-hand panel. So I'm going to close that. And I'm also going to get rid of my tabs at the top. So this is ChatGPT. I can go down here and I can prompt whatever it is that I need to prompt, and I can go from there, and I can continuously prompt from that particular stage. So what I'm going to do is I am going to real quickly go to the chat and see if I can see something that somebody may have wanted.
And financial empowerment.
Say that again.
I put in financial empowerment for entrepreneurs.
Financial. So give me an idea of what you mean by that. What would you like it to do?
An outline for a webinar.
An outline for a webinar to teach financial empowerment. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah, like high level of what would be covered in a course, but just
Okay.
an introductory webinar so that they want to learn more.
Okay, and I want you to stay with me on this because I'm gonna ask you some questions so I can make sure that it's specific. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so just in case anybody doesn't know what's happening now, I'm going to use ChatGPT to help Nancy create a webinar, an outline for a webinar that she would teach on financial empowerment. So I'm going to ask her some questions so that I can be specific while I'm setting this up. And if you've used any of these already, you know that shift, and this is if you're using a regular computer, not an Apple, not a Mac. If you use shift and enter at the same time, that is how you drop down to the next paragraph. Just so you guys know, because I know everybody doesn't know that, right? So I'm gonna start here. So I'm going to do what now first? Assign a role. I'm going to assign a role first. So she's doing a webinar on financial empowerment. So I want ChatGPT to be that first. So I'm going to say,
I want it to be a female over 40.
You said a female over 40?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's good, guys. So
With a job and a side hustle.
Hey, look, these specifics are going to be important because that's what's going to get you the better answer, the better output from the prompt. So you are a financial advisor, and I'm going to assume that as a financial advisor, and I'm going to be correcting my writing, guys, but keep in mind, you don't have to. Like, it knows what you're saying, so even if I spell something wrong, it's going to know I spelled it wrong. I'm just OCD, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to fix things if I see it. So that's just what I'm going to do. So you are a financial advisor, and I'm assuming that you're saying you're one over 40 because you're going to be training people that you want to be over 40. So yes. You're a financial advisor over the age of 40. Right. So I feel age wrong. I've just did what? Assigned a role to the language model. Now, you are interested in creating a financial empowerment webinar that should last 2 hours.
Nope.
How long?
1 hour.
1 hour. Are you gonna have Q&A?
That's part of it. 45 minutes and 15 minutes of Q&A.
1 hour. All right. 45 minutes. Hold on. Sorry, guys, something happened to my assistant, so I don't have anybody letting people in. Okay. So it's going to be 45 minutes of education and 15 minutes of Q&A. So we've assigned a role and we let it know how long we want the program to be. We also have broken up the time that we have. So remember, we want to have some tonality in here. We're going to put some tonality in here. We're also going to, do we want to add a persona to it, Nancy? Do we want to do it like some other guru or like you? Is there a female over 40 that does financial empowerment webinars that you want to use as a persona or no?
Try D Pepper and see if it makes if she
spell it for me.
Her first name is D-E-E.
Okay. And then the last name is Pepper, like the season?
Yep.
Okay.
And the tonality is, I would like it both conversational and yeah, I guess we could use Susie Orman if D Pepper doesn't work.
Okay. I'm gonna do Susie Orman first.
Okay.
Because I know that she's more well-known, right? So I would like for this financial empowerment webinar to spell it there. Sometimes I can't spell no that. Empowerment webinar to be in the persona of Susie Orman, and it's M-A-N, right?
Yes.
You said you want the tonality to be conversational, and what else?
Conversational and emotional.
Emotional. All right, so we've got tonality in here, we've got persona in here, we've got we've given it a role to play in here. So all of these things are in this prompt, right? So put a 6 in the chat if this is all making sense. So we're putting this in there and we're detailing this out. And then remember, you can do I'm going to do some continuous prompting, some what we call follow-up prompting.
Right.
Behind the original prompt, because I don't like to give it so much information that it's overloaded. So I do it a little bit at a time sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah.
And we're going to use the language as if it was an 8th grader reading it.
Okay. Sometimes financial subjects can be confusing. So please create this webinar outline so that an 8th, did I spell 8th wrong?
No, E-I-G-H-T.
Yeah, no, I spelled something wrong. Hold on, E-I-G-H, what I did?
E-I-G-H-T. I mean, shoot.
Man, hold on, no, I know. Let me do it this way.
There we go.
8th grader would understand it.
Right.
Right. So
That's it.
thank you. So let's see what it does. So again, guys, all of this is always in the this is always in the experiment realm. So when you start using this, you're going to see that sometimes you're going to put things in you need to correct the way you do it. I'm going to go ahead and click this green button and see what it does. So it's laying this out for Nancy. Introduction, 5 minutes. Warm welcome and introduction to the webinar. Briefly explain the importance. And part 1, build a strong financial foundation, 15 minutes. Understanding, hold on, where I'm at. Okay, understanding money basics, explain what money is and why it's essential. Now remember, I asked it to write an outline, right, guys? So I asked it to write an outline, and that's what it did. So now that it's written this outline for me, right? See how big this is, guys? Everything all the way down to closing remarks. Now I'm gonna go back in here and I'm gonna do what we call follow-up prompting, right? Thank you for creating this outline. And I haven't looked to see whether it's the Susie Orman tone or any of that, because I haven't heard of Susie Orman in probably 15, 20 years, so I don't know what her tone is anymore. But I don't know whether somebody else knows whether this sounds like things that she would say or topics she would touch on. I'm not sure, but I put it in there, right? So thank you for creating the webinar outline. Can you now create content for each
Just put it.
of the particular outline areas so that we have a full training? Now, what you'll notice is I didn't have to say to it again that it's a financial advisor over 40. I don't have to say to it again what I want the tonality to be. I don't have to say any of that, because remember, it remembers the threads, right? Put a 7 in the chat if you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm now just doing follow-up prompting to make this a little bit better, and we're breaking it up a little bit at a time as opposed to having it write it out without outlining it first. Do the outline, and then let's get some meat or some content within that outline. So I'm gonna go ahead and click and see what it does. Here's the content for each section, and it's still generating content.
It says I'm Susie Orman.
It says it?
Yeah, in the beginning.
All right, so this is it. Now, if I wanted more, I'm gonna stop here because I want to be able to give different examples, obviously, of some other items here, and I want to pull up the other language models as well. It's got all the way down to conclusion. It's now added information inside of those same numbers that were outlines before, and it said you should talk about this. It is now put the content inside of those outline parts. So now this webinar could be done by Nancy, created, and there's even apps that she can now take this information. For instance, she could go to Canva, because Canva has AI involved in it, and that's something else that we're going to be doing in the boot camp. I'm going to be showing in the boot camp how to use Canva's AI system to now allow the AI to work in there, because they have their own AI within their system. So in Canva, I could literally take this information, copy it, go to Canva, drop it, and then say, create a presentation. And Canva is going to actually design the entire presentation on a PowerPoint setup with images and everything else with this information. So I don't even have to actually draw this up. Canva will do it for me with the click of a button. So AI has gotten that far where literally is being written by, and this is where I would have somebody like look at it. So if I'm not really a financial advisor, or I don't have that background, I may have somebody that does that kind of work and say, hey, look, I have a webinar outline. I want you to take a look at it and see whether this makes sense. That person might say, hey man, give me $50, give me $100. If I get that person $100 to look at that, that's an expense. But I now have my webinar set up, and now I go to Canva and get it dropped into a PowerPoint, and now I can do this webinar. Now, if I'm charging for this webinar, I make my money back and some. If it's just a webinar to use to sell something else, then however you're doing it, I don't know what the business model is going to be on this, but obviously it was just written by ChatGPT in just a few minutes that we went over this, and it wouldn't even have taken this long if I wasn't doing explanations while I was doing it. Is that fair? If I put an 8 in the chat, if that makes sense. So so is this kind of what you were looking for, Nancy?
Yeah, can you save it and send it to me?
Oh yeah. When we are done with this, I'll send it to you. I'll push the whole thing over to you so you'll have it.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now let's go over to, I'm gonna go over to Bing. So I'm gonna stop my share and go to Bing so we can look at something else. You guys all still good over there? Good, everybody's good? All right, give me a thumbs up if y'all good. An electronic thumbs up if y'all good in the chat. All right, so remember I told you guys about using the link to summarize, so to speak. So I'm going to show you guys, and I already laid this out, so I'm going to show you guys where I did it so that you'll see exactly what I did, like blow for blow on it, right? So share screen. I am going, now I'm going to look like I'm looking off the camera because I'm using another screen right now. So if you guys can bear with me on that, don't just try not to worry about where I'm looking, but more or less, as a matter of fact, I might just cut my camera off. So let's see. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to pull up Bing. Move these things out the way. So for those that did not see the email yet on how to get into Bing, just know if you pull up Bing on your computer, if you have not gone to Bing AI yet, over here in the upper right-hand corner, that's where you do it. You click this little B logo. When you click it, it'll open up Bing Chat, which is Bing AI. So that's how you're going to do that. Sorry, it's taking so long to populate, but just bear with me a second. And as a matter of fact, it looked like I'm gonna drop this one and look at the one behind it because I already got it open over here. Okay, so remember I showed you guys on ChatGPT where on the left bar over there. Oh, let me close all this other stuff. Hold on. Too much going on. Too much going on. All right. So on the left hand side, I showed you where it kept count of where you were at, the things that you have been looking up. Over here, it shows it on the right hand side. Right? It shows you on the right-hand side different things that that you've looked up already when you were doing Bing. So let me see. Let me go on to. I'm trying to find the one I was working on already here for y'all. Let's see. I was trying to save a little bit of time by preparing something, but I got so much here that I can't. Well, I guess I'm just gonna do it in front of y'all. So what I'm going to do is I am going to drop prompt in here, and the prompt is going to be me summarizing a video off of YouTube. So bear with me 1 second. Let me grab my prompt because I already got it prepared over here. So So I believe most of you all already know who Jim Rohn is. So I'm gonna drop a prompt in here. Okay, so I have a prompt in here that says, can you please summarize this video? Then it says the video title. I got the video title right off of YouTube, and then I took the link for that video off of YouTube. And let's see what happens when I ask it to summarize this actual video to see what happens here. So it's telling me that it couldn't find a summary of the video. So what I'm gonna do is take that same prompt, and this is where I go to other AIs, and I may have to reshare my screen and show you guys another AI here. Pull it up on Byron and see. Let's see if it does it here. If it does it, I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna reshare my screen in the new system. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. Okay, so it's saying it can't find that particular video, so I'm gonna go to a regular site here and pull up something, an article. I'm gonna see if it will summarize this article here. So let's see. So I'm gonna grab the link from this article. And then I am going to go here and see if I say, can you please summarize this article? And I'm going to hit shift and enter, drop the link. Let's see if it can read it here. So I took an article offline, I mean, as you guys saw, and dropped the article inside of here and asked it to just do just a summary. So can you summarize this article in bullet points also I would like for you to let me know how the legal services that I offer can assist a trucking company having these issues. Let's see what it does. Now, before I do that, let me grab.
Mr. Dunbar, you have to complete the word legal. I think you just got gal.
Oh, really? Hold on. Let me go back there real quick.
Go back to that. Yeah, there you go. Ellie.
Man, I forget 2 letters. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No worries. Teamwork all the
time. So now I'm going to let's go to a CDL video on YouTube and see if I can find the link. CDL. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop the link for the Legal Shield video in the Zoom. I mean, inside of that, so that it knows what services that's offered, because it should be able to review that video. Hopefully it will, I should say. Let's see what happens. All right, here we go. So I'm gonna copy this link for this video and see if this works.
Truck drivers have one of the most important.
All right. Go back here. Below is also the video for the legal services I offer. Let's see what happens. Shift enter, drop the video there. And this is what I do, like when I'm working on things, to see what it will do and what it won't do. Because sometimes, and if it doesn't work here, sometimes I'll go to one of the other ones. All right, so that's not really the answer I'm looking for. So let me see, let me redo it. And let me first see if I can just summarize the article on bullet points, see if it just does that first. So now it's giving me an actual site that does that. So again, not what I'm looking for. So let me see. So I'm gonna go to another example. So I had somebody else that's here with us today, Willie Tolbert, sent me an email. And the email that he sent me, oh, hold on, let me reshare my screen. Give me 1 second, guys. Stop share, reshare. Okay, So I should see a different screen now. And where is that? Where is that? Where is that? All right, so I got an email here. Good afternoon. I'm looking forward to attending the AI sector. One of the questions I have is how can I create impactful landing pages for my coaching business? How can I use AI to create a book that can be published? So now I'm going to reply to this email with, I'm going to create an email and reply to this email, right? So I'm going to go through the same steps, right? Now, this time I'm going to go into, I'm going to practice something on Google Bard just because it's a different model, right? Okay, so I'm in Google Bard now, and Google Bard over here, same thing, left-hand side, you can see all of the different things that I've done here. If I click show more, it'll drop down more examples right here, right? And if I want to create a new chat, I just click new chat here. If I want to hide this bar, just like ChatGPT, I'm gonna click this and I'm gonna hide the bar. I'm clicking open it back up, and then right, I'm here and I can start here. So I received the email, so I can now I'm gonna go ahead and do the same assigning roles and all of this stuff, right? So you are a business coach. You received an email from a prospective client looking for some assistance. The email is below. Then I'm going to hit Shift Enter, and I'm going to drop the email here. All right, so it says, good afternoon, Mr. Gama. I'm looking forward to attending the AI in Action seminar. One of the questions I have is how can I create impactful landing pages for my coaching business? How can I use that? So now I'm going to hit Shift Enter again. And I'm going to say, as a business coach, you would like to reply to this email, to this email in a professional and likable tone. Also, you would like to, let me see, assist the client by allowing him to know that you will be discussing those topics in your complimentary seminar. Can you write this email? Right, so that's how I would position it, right? So I've got my tonality in there, I've got my assignment of role in there. So I'm going to see what Google Bard does with this. All right, so hope this email finds you well. I'm so glad to hear that you're looking for attending the AI in Action seminar. I'm sure you'll learn a lot about the latest trends in AI. I understand that you have a few questions about the AI landing page and how you create a book. I'm happy to help you with those. In terms of creating impactful landing pages, AI can use bot, but I'm not gonna read the whole thing for the sake of time, but it obviously responded to that email to me based on me putting the email in there and assigning a role, assigning a tonality to it, right? Then it goes on, and then in the meantime, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate, right? And I can really, now, Google Bard, here's some things about Google Bard, because I didn't really explain. This is why I use Google Bard more than I use the rest, because not only did it give me this email, I can go over here and I can click view other drafts. I can click view other drafts. And when I click view other drafts, it's written the email differently here. So now I have a different email, a different way of responding, right? This one has more bullet points in it. So I may choose to use that as my response. Here's the third draft that I may use as a response, right? Now, this is another reason why I like Google. Plus, I'm a big Google. Everybody know I'm Google like for life anyway. But the different things I can do now, I can now share this however I choose to. I can export this to a Google Docs, or I can hit draft in email in Gmail. I can click this, and it's going to actually take this information. And you see on my left-hand side, it says new email created. I click open in Gmail. And now that very email response that it wrote for me, it's going to now allow me to just go ahead and push it right out to Mr. Tolbert based on the email that he sent me. So it's going to open up my Gmail. I'm obviously going to change the subject line to something else up here. So I would go up there and I would change the subject line, but I can change where I'm, which email I'm using to send it to the person back, who I'm sending it to, right? And then I could just fire this email. I could just fire this email off, right? All I'm doing is putting dear, right? I'm changing this and putting Willie or dear Mr. Tolbert or whatever I'm gonna put here. Blah, 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 blah. So I have the ability to be able to do that now, and then just go ahead and go down here and click send and send the email off. So that's an example of how I can do that here. So now what I'm going to do is, based on what he asked me to do, right? He said he wanted some help with landing pages. He wanted to create a book that he could publish, right? And I don't know whether this is a regular book or ebook. So if you could unmute yourself, Mr. Tobin, was this a full-fledged book or ebook?
It's full-fledged because yes.
Oh, so keep your mic open real quick. So let's keep on. Let's just keep going and do some more creation. So you want to create a book. You want to create a book on what topic?
Actually on the benefits of having a business coach.
Okay, so role assignment, right? You are an author, right? So I'm going to, you are an author.
Yes.
So I'm assigning that, I'm assigning that, right? And I'm going to say, you also coach businesses. Assigning role, right? Making this AI a guru in that space, right? I would like to know what outline would be best for me. Oh, you know what? I forgot my cameras off, guys. Sorry. All right. So what I would like to know what outline would be best for me to use in order to start writing a book on the benefits of having a regular coach or business coach.
A business coach.
Business coach, having a business coach. You want this book to be long, a short read? What?
A short read, yeah.
I would like the outline to be for a book that is a short read. You gonna say something else?
No, it's good. I was just gonna say 25 pages or less.
Okay, so I'm putting parentheses. 25 pages or less. Yeah, I can't spell today. 25 pages or less, right? And then I'm going to say, I would like the outline to be professional, but also present the information so that a high school student would understand. Any personas?
Basically, the persona would be, based on understanding, the persona would be where it's palatable. I'm
No, the
using,
persona is going to be a person that it would.
okay, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, persona is somebody that we're coach to coach.
Somebody that would coach a coach.
Yes.
Now, do you have any
Jim Rohn.
particular? Do you have any particular
Yeah,
people in mind?
yeah, Mr. Darnell Self.
Okay, all right. I would like for the outline to follow the persona of Darnell Self. All right, so let's see what it gets us when we do this. All right, so we got an introduction, you got chapter 1, what is a business? Chapter 2, benefits of having a business. Chapter 3, how to start a business. Now, to me, this wouldn't work because it needs to be more of a. You said the benefits of having a business coach, right?
Right, correct.
So we're gonna go in there and do some
Wow.
alterations to it. What you gonna say?
I was going to say Robert Dunbar.
I don't know what the system going on me, but with that. So hold on, let me see. Introduction, benefits of having a business. Wait, now did I say benefits of having a business coach in here though? Oh, see, no, I didn't. I did it wrong. See, it said benefits of having a business. That's why I responded that way. So
Okay.
I did that. It was a mistype on my error. Benefits of having a business coach. Right.
But that's good for us to see that. So should we encounter a situation like that, because one word can change the whole context.
Yes, it can. It can. That's why the being specific part is so important. So now on the regeneration, here's an outline for a book on the benefits of having a business coach. Introduction: what is a business coach? Why should you get a business coach? What is a good fit for a business coach? Chapter 1, benefits of having a business coach. Chapter 2, how to find a business coach. So it's got it laid out here, and I'm gonna look at the other ones as well. So it's laid that out, and I'm now going to click view other drafts. And now it's got a different, right? Chapter 1, accountability. Chapter 2, guidance. Chapter 3, motivation. Chapter 4, networking, conclusion. And then you've got a third draft. Setting goals, strategic planning, leadership, time management, marketing, and sales. So you have a different approach here. So now, again, this is just an outline. So then I would go back down here and I would say, let's just go to draft number 2. I would still go back down here after that, and I would do the follow-up prompt, which would be, right, I thank them. Thank you for the great outline. Great outline. Can you now give me the book content that would fall under. Oh, and just so you guys know, there's other systems that you can now, once it gives you this content, you can put it in other systems to make sure that there's no plagiarism, make sure that it rephrases things a certain way, and then you can check it to see whether or not, like they have systems, AI systems that you can put it in, and it tells you this book looks like it's 80% AI generated or 4% AI generated. They have tools for that, and it's free tools. There's nothing that you pay for. You just take your content, drop it in there, and then if it says it looks like it's 40% AI written, you can repurpose a little bit of it and then drop it back in there and see, just so you guys know when it comes to doing something like writing an ebook or putting together a full training or something like that, right? So thank you for the great outline. Can you now give the book content that will fall under each particular outline chapter? Let's see what happens. So it's giving me some more information. Now, me personally, I'm going to want more than this, so you can continue to do more. So for instance, it's giving you more information, but I can now say, okay, chapter 1, accountability, right? A business coach can help you stay accountable for your goals by setting clear expectations, tracking your progress, and providing regular feedback. Now, this is where you come into play to make this book fit what you want it to do. So I can now go and say, according to chapter 1, accountability, and I do a lot of cutting and pasting, so you'll see what I'm talking about here. According to chapter 1, accountability, the outline states that and then I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna grab this, I'm gonna copy it, and I'm gonna drop it in here. Right, according to chapter 1, accountability, the outline states that a business coach can help you stay accountable to your goals by setting clear expectations, tracking your progress, and providing regular feedback, right?
Yes.
Can you give me some real life examples of this to put in the book, for examples? Right? Now I'm making it, now I'm making it right more. And now you can do this how you choose to do it, which is what's going to make the book more based on your creativity, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
now I hit enter, and now it's going to give me some more information on that. And I would then put that information, reword it, whatever I'm gonna do with it, and put it into the book based on that. So let's see what it spits out. So now it's giving me some more information, right? Setting clear expectations, and it's got some tracking your progress, providing regular feedback. And then it's giving examples. John is a business owner who wants to increase. The business coach helps John break down his goals. The business coach also helps John track his progress, a result of working with the business coach, right? You guys follow that? So now I'm gonna show you guys something else within this same realm, right? Still going in the same space. Let's say I want to put some things inside of a chart as I'm doing it, whether it be a to-do list, whether it be this information right here. So I can say, thanks for the examples. Can you now, right, follow-up prompting, place these examples in a chart and categorize the chart based upon Let me see how I'm gonna set that up. Based upon, let me see if I do it this way. Based upon chapters and examples in the content. That might not make sense, but let me see what it does. Okay. All right. So what it did was it created, right, chapter setting clear goals, clear expectations, chapter tracking progress, chapter provide regular feedback, and then it's got the example of doing it, right? So it made that chart. Now I'm not going to export it for the sake of time, but you see what it says right here on the right? Export to sheets. I can literally click this, and this will, it will turn this into an Excel sheet. It's going to be Google Sheets, not Excel, but same thing. It's a spreadsheet. It's going to turn it into a spreadsheet. So I can now take this information and export it out of this into a spreadsheet, right? And I can do the same thing with the to-do list. So if somebody sent me an email saying, today you have to do this, tomorrow you have to do this, the next day you have to do this, right? I can say, you are an organizer. You have a lot of work to do before going out of town this weekend. Here is a list of things that need to be done. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and shift enter. Oops, did that wrong, sorry. I hit enter without the shift.
Robert, can it create pros and cons?
Give me an example.
Well, if you have a subject like you want it to be evaluated for the benefit of having a coach versus not having a coach.
Okay, so let's do that before we finish this. Why you on the line saying it to me? Because I really want to do more of what people want to see versus I'm giving examples. So give me the play. Let's play it out. So you're saying the pros and cons of having a coach versus not having a coach.
Yeah, and today, right?
All right. So
that's the first thing.
So what I would do is I would say, let me start that as a new chat, by the way. I'm gonna start as a new chat, and I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna say, you are, now, again, I'm assigning a role, right? So because I'm assigning a role, as a matter of fact, I'm not going to assign a role. Let me tell you why I'm not. I'm not going to assign a role so that it's not biased. Does that make sense? If I assign a role and say that they're a coach, then it might be biased. So when you look at the 5 potential risks of AI, part of the 5 potential risks are bias and discrimination, because this data that's put inside of these AI systems, and when they're learning from what's there. And what do we know is already out here? Bias and discrimination. So it's learning through that as well. So sometimes their answer may be biased. So I'm not going to assign a role as a coach, because it's obviously going to have better polls of why you need a coach if it's a coach. Is that fair? So
Fair.
I'm going to ask a general question, right? I am considering getting a business coach. I've been in business for over 10 years, and I'm not sure whether or not I need a business coach. Can you please give me Can you please give me the
Objective.
pros and cons of having a business coach? Also, what the going rate of a business coach is in the United States. And you could say obviously anywhere, Africa or England or wherever you want, right? And of a business coach in the United States, right? So I'm gonna ask it to do that, see what it spits out.
Mhm.
So we got our pros, we got our cons, right?
Mhm.
Going rate of a business coach in the United States can vary depending on the coach's experience, expertise, and location. However, you can expect to pay anything from $100 to $500 per hour for a business coach, right? And then it's got some more information down here. Now, remember, it's 3 drafts all the time within Google Bar. So I can click view other drafts, and it'll give me some other drafts, some different answers set up a different way. So this is something that you can do within that system. And this is also something that I would then come back and say, can you please place the pros and cons in a chart and also put the business coaching estimated prices in a chart.
Mm, that's
See
good.
what it does when I ask that. So it doesn't, let me see, type of coaching, in-person coaching, online coaching, right? So this one, oh, okay, yeah, okay, it got it in the chart. All right, I was thinking it didn't, but let me check the other ones and see how it looks on the other ones. I think this one looks a little bit easier on the eyes for me.
Mhm.
Pros, cons, estimated prices, and then you got draft 3. And again, any of these can be exported to Google Sheets as well here. So just know that you can do all of that here, or I can send this in an email, or I can just save it to a Google Doc sheet, whatever I need to do here with that information. But again, just different ways of doing that. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair because it's definitely, having an attorney and not having an attorney and so forth like that and put it in charts. And that's good.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah. Unfortunately, I can't find the other thing that I was doing previously. I have put something up similar to that, but I had so much that I was doing. I think I just lost it. But let me see. Let me go here. Let me finish what I was doing here. You are an organizer. You have a lot of work to do this weekend. What needs to be done? And I'm gonna go ahead and hit Shift Enter, and it's gonna be clean the house, feed the dog. Well, my spelling is horrible there. Feed the dog, pick up the kids, go to the grocery store, check on parents because I am their caregiver. Get the grass cut and go to therapy, right? These are all things that I have to do before I go out of town, right? So I'm now going to say, can you create a to-do list for these items to have them done by Friday in the most convenient manner, right? So let's see what it does.
you're gonna build a team at some point, team of business solutions folks with one of the companies.
Hold on, guys. I'll get that noise in a minute here. Let me get to.
You prospect someone who says, hey, look, I know, I mean, you can help me make an extra $5,000 a month. I mean, you can help me start getting out of debt, be on my credit cards. I mean, you can help me get enough tuition money where I can.
Sorry about that. All right, so what do we get here? All right, so it's broken down, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's broken down, it's organized. Those actual to-dos that I said I needed to do, is set those up for me. You guys follow that? So it pretty much laid those out just by me letting them know what I needed to do. So this is a really easy way for you to have admin work set up for you without having an admin. This is your actual admin in that particular space. So these are just some examples of how you can use it. Obviously, we out of time, so I can't keep giving you guys more examples. But you can do anything from, like I said, summarizing to writing an ebook to preparing a training to scheduling your day to figuring out when is the best time to do something that you need to do. I mean, anything you can think of, you can do with AI as long as you prompt it the correct way. And what I was attempting to show you guys today was ways to set this up where you do the best prompting, because prompt engineering is really the power in using AI, is knowing how to ask it to do things and how to do follow-up prompting in that space. So I'm going to be taking some questions here in a second. Before I take those questions, I do want to pull this this up real quickly. I have some scan codes here for the people who are interested in the boot camp.
Is the boot camp strictly on AI?
Yes, that's all it is. It's all AI. All AI related.
Is Jasper one of the things you'll teach too?
Jasper, no, we're gonna be doing ChatGPT, Google Bar, Bing AI, and then bringing in applications, meaning different video applications, image applications, using applications with these different. The reason why I'm not doing like Copy AI and Jasper and all the other ones in the boot camp is because I know that over time, some of these are going to be bought out by the bigger. That's what's going to end up happening. They're going to get swallowed up because that's what always happens, right? So when that happens, now you've been trained on something that you can't use anymore. I know that Google Bard is not going to go anywhere because Google's not going to go anywhere. I know that Bing is not because it's based on Microsoft's actual search engine. And ChatGPT that's only ChatGPT. It's actually OpenAI. That's the bigger platform. And OpenAI has a host of AI products and services. So they're going to be there. Plus, they're backed by Microsoft as well. So that's why I'm training on those platforms, because I do use Jasper. I do use Copy AI. I'm looking at Gorilla now. There's a lot of them that I play with, but I know that they're being created, but they're either going to fall off because they're not good enough, or if they are good enough, they're going to get purchased by the bigger ones. And then all of that information is going to just be, it's going to be turned into where whatever you already know about the bigger outfit, it's going to still work the same way, if that makes any sense. So that's why I'm not training on Jasper particularly. And Jasper's been around for a long time. I do use it occasionally, but I just found the other ones to be a better setup for me. And that's just me personally. Of course, obviously other people may do something different. So the 8-week boot camp, guys, is going to be every Monday for 90 minutes. And it's strictly going to be using AI in different ways, showing people how to do in detail, how to do particular things with AI from their life to their business. So how can we help you in life? If you don't own a business and you just look, I got a 9 to 5, maybe it can help you in your career. Maybe what you do at your job, you can do better with AI so that you don't particularly maybe lose your job, or you want to make an advancement in your job because you understand AI and you can do something that you do at your job better based on AI and the apps that are involved in it. With ChatGPT, if you pay for it 20 bucks a month, there's hundreds of apps that do everything from help create graphs to review videos to everything. I mean, it's almost anything you would need to do, it's in there. So we'll be going over those apps and how to use those apps and all the other apps that's out here. I mean, there's a ton of apps on your cell phone and as add-ons to Google Chrome that you can actually use as AI that's associated with AI to make things easier. So those are going to be some things that we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking about that. I'm going to show you guys how to actually lay out your ebook if you want to do some ebooks, how to use it for lead generation, how to actually generate leads using AI, how to scrape things like LinkedIn and Facebook and all these places, how to scrape the information, the name of potential prospects, their email information, how to scrape those, bring them into AI, put them on a chart like a spreadsheet so that you can now fire off a sequence of emails to those individuals for whatever the scenario might be. And I'll show you the sequence of emails that I'm talking about so that you're able to do those things here. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about content creation, whether it be creating your Instagram posts, whether it be creating content that you're going to use to lead generate for your business, whether it's to create content that you're going to maybe sell. Maybe you want to create some templates that you're going to sell on Etsy or whatever. Like some people like to sell things there. You can use AI to create those as well. So whether it's life or business, we're going to be covering all those on a week-to-week basis to make sure that you totally understand. But the main outfits that we're going to use outside of that, the main outfits that we're going to use are just those three, because I know that a year from now, you'll still be able to use those three platforms because they'll still be around. There'll be some changes, some upgrades, all of those things, but you'll be familiar with going in them and using them. Also, when you start looking at some of the other ones, the Copy AI and the Jaspers and some of the other ones, they do charge you, or they have like only so much you can do before there's a cost. I know right now with ChatGPT, you can use it for free. And then if you want to use the upgraded version, you can pay 20 bucks a month. With Google Bard and Bing AI, they're both free. I don't know whether cost is ever going to come. I have no idea, but right now they're not even talking about cost, so you can do all the things that you need to do there right through here. So Gmail also has AI as a part of it. So I'm going to be going into Gmail, where with Gmail, you can now have it write all of your emails for you hands off. So for instance, if somebody emails me to my Gmail account, I can literally say, respond to this email, but respond aggressively. Respond to this email, but respond politely. And it will write the email as a response. And it's going to also use the way that you normally write emails in Gmail because it knows, because it's Gmail. So Gmail has an AI component, which obviously I didn't touch today because I didn't have time to, and that's not what was going over. So we're going to be doing the products like Gmail with how to use their AI, using Canva as a design tool, and using their AI to create presentations, to do your design work for all the posts that you maybe need to be doing on social media if you're posting for business. So they have something called Magic Write that you can use within Canva that will do all of the content writing for you. So if you say, I want to do a presentation on dancing, right? You can say, this is what I want to do, type it in there. I want to do a dance presentation so I can train people on how to dance. You put that in there and then it will actually create it for you. And Canva does that for you. Now, again, Canva is something that you pay for. It's $12.95 a month, but it's an all-in-one design setup. They do have a free version, but you can't use all of the AI inside of the free version. So if you're going to use Canva to do design work and use this AI, that's $12.95 a month to use that with the AI included. The free version, there's a lot you can do with it, but you can't use all of the AI too. So we're going to be covering things like that as well. So it's just basically going to be hands-on, going in there and creating projects and showing you guys how to use AI in and out to make sure that you totally get the picture and are moving with the cheese as it comes to AI. So if anybody's interested, if you scan either one of those codes, if you scan the $299 code, that's your paying. That's a one-time payment of $299. It's 8 weeks minus Labor Day weekend. If you do the $175, it's 2 payments of $175, which ends up being $350. And you'll do the first payment now for $175. The second payment won't come out your account until 30 days from now. If you do that particular one there. So those are the two scans for those different products. Of course, it's going to be all kinds of handbook information. So my assistant is actually creating all of the prompts. So you're going to have prompts for every industry. So you're going to have, like we talked about today, prompt engineering. So it's going to be prompt engineering for everything. Prompt engineering if you're a business coach. Prompt engineering if you sell legal services. Prompt engineering if you are caregiving. Prompt engineering, whatever industry that there is out there, we're going to create prompt engineering, which says these are the 10 best ways to prompt AI to do this particular thing. So obviously we're going to do a survey to find out what people we have on there and what they need, because creating the prompts is really easy. It's just templated things that we do. So we'll create those and you'll have those prompts so that you can use those in AI from this point on. So those are some things that we'll be doing as well within that boot camp. So with that being said, I am going to take any questions that anybody has. Yes.
We have to raise our hands. I have a question in reference to if you wanted to like create a newsletter with current events that was pertinent, like real estate, current events, information for buyer, seller on a weekly basis. Well, that would be my thing. But is that something that it also creates?
Yes, and I wouldn't use ChatGPT for that. I would actually use Bard or Bing, because the thing with ChatGPT is it only goes up to 2021. So anything after 2021, ChatGPT doesn't have now. The paid version will give you more information on the paid version, but they're kind of going in and out on it, meaning on my paid version, they had access to the internet and then they removed it. They said it was coming back. So I don't know where that's going to end up, but bottom line is, if you're going to create a newsletter, the answer is yes. You use Bard or Bing, and you would just generally go in there and say, like we just did, you are a real estate agent, or you are a real estate broker, and you have a brokerage in these states, right? Because I kind of know your scenario, right? You have a brokerage in these states. You would like to create a weekly newsletter on current events happening in real estate. Can you go ahead and you can say week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and it would actually do that for you. It will create that for you. Now you can then take that content and then you can go to Canva, and then you can go to Canva and then click newsletter. It's going to pull up the templates, and then you click magic right and you say, this is my content. Can you design this? And Canva's going to create some designs for you there. Or that's one way. You could actually have somebody from Fiverr. So I have Canva designers on Fiverr that I use, that I can just contact and say, hey, here's my newsletter content. Here's my logo. Here's the colors for my branding. Go ahead and create a newsletter that's going to go out weekly, and they will create it. And then all I have to do now is send it out from my email blaster. So that's something that's a easy. I meant to show you guys the email sequence setup, but obviously, we ran out of time. A lot more information than I had time to present. But I had written out earlier a 7-day email sequence where I basically said, this is what I'm promoting. I've got this program happening. It's happening in the next 7 days. Can you write 7 emails that will apply over the next 7 days for this particular training? And it wrote those emails out. So that's something that you can do as well with the language models. So it'll put those email sequences together for you, if that makes sense.
And we're going to learn that.
Yeah. That's something that we're gonna do inside of the boot camp to show you how to create. I mean, and you can do it for as far as you want. If you wanted it to be an email sequence for the next 30 days, you can say write 30 emails and it will run them in a sequence, meaning it will say at the end of the email, it will say tomorrow, open your email because we're going to talk about this. And then email 2 will talk about that. So it will run an entire sequence. So giving you guys an example, a real life example, y'all get emails from me how often? Every day, right? Well, I'm not writing those emails. AI is. All I do is put the subject in there that I'm talking about, and I say I need 10 emails, and it puts together the emails, and then I send the emails and giving you guys, right, the real life example. If y'all can, I believe you can still see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Okay, y'all see my screen? So this is the real life example right here. So you'll see where I have,
A question for you when you mentioned the emails.
hold
Do you
on one
have to
second,
have that?
Barbara. You see this right here? It's got subject, email 1, email 2, email 3, email 4. It's writing the emails for me. All I did was prompted what I wanted. And here, based upon this AI basic training workshop, can you create 6 email sequence touching on the benefits of taking this complimentary workshop? I would like the emails to be sales emails with a sense of urgency to get people enrolled in a workshop before August 7th of 2023, which is the day. Please use as enticing information some of the bullet points that we will be covering in the workshop, as well as some catchy, engaging content that will attract potential. Can you create subject line? Oh, hold on, guys. Let me get that real quick. Sorry. Sorry.
None of you cars are wrong car.
I know it.
Sorry. All right. So after I put that, then I put the content that I wanted the emails to be written for, right? Workshop overview, agenda, preparing for the workshop, expected attendee result. I put that in there, and then it did what? It wrote the emails, gave me a subject line for the email, and then wrote the content for the email, closed it out. Then email 2, email 3, it gave me the emails that I asked for. So that's what this can do. And whether it's a newsletter or it's the email sequence, it will set it up for you as long as you know how to ask it to do that. So those are things that we're going to be covering in the boot camp as well. Anybody
We
else?
will also cover how it gets sent out. Like, it's
That's
great
what I
to
was going to
get
ask.
emails, but who tells it when to mail it?
You said what now?
How? Okay, you got the 10 emails. Okay, fine. So
Mhm.
now, are you also going to show us how you put it into the system so that they get sent out?
Yes, but I can
If
only
have
show you
them and
that.
I'm not sending them out,
But I can only show you that if you're using a system that I know. Give you an example.
like Kajabi.
Right, I use Kajabi, but I can also show you how to do it in Gmail.
Okay,
So if you just say, I don't have any system, I don't have Salesforce, I'm just a Gmail user. I can show you how to take that email, right? Drop it into Gmail and then schedule it to go out at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then grab
Yes.
email 2,
Okay.
drop it in there and say, I want this one to go out the day after tomorrow at 12 noon. I can
right.
show you how to do that in Gmail. If you use Kajabi, I can show you how to do it in Kajabi. So example, I don't know, Willie Tober might be gone because I know he may be on the TMB training. Willie Tober has Kajabi. So I'll show him how to put it inside the email sequence in there because he has the same platform that I have when it comes to sending emails. So if you're a Kajabi user, if you're a MailChimp user, if you're a Gmail user, I can show you how to send the emails. If you're using Yahoo or Outlook, I can show you on that too because I know how to use those, obviously. But I don't use Constant Contact or any of that stuff. But generally speaking, guys, when I show you how to set up the email, if you use Constant Contact, you're going to know how to put the email in there anyway because you use that platform. But I will show you the basics of how to do that so that you can have them go out on automation. Because the idea is for you not to have to send them every day. It's for them to go out for 10 days in a row without you touching anything. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Makes sense.
That is what we want to happen. It's all about automation. That's what AI is about. So it shouldn't be day-to-day anything. It should just be firing off. So if you don't get up to 10 in the morning, that email should have gone out at 8 o'clock in the morning without you being woke, if that's the time you wanted to go out.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. Absolutely.
That's good, right?
Anybody else have any questions?
Mr. Dunbar.
Yes.
Hey, sir. Aloha, sir. Hey, are you ever gonna be teaching about text to image?
Text to image?
Yeah, like Midjourney or all those guys.
Hold on one second. I'm trying to blow this thing up because I can't see everybody, and it's not. I don't like when I can't see people. Okay, so that's a good question, Sergio. I'm glad you asked that question. So yes, text to image we're going to talk about because the reason why we haven't covered it is because that's app. Does that make sense? Like Google, Bard, Bing, and ChatGPT, they have apps that they associate with that allow them to do that. They don't do it on their own. That's why we didn't cover it here. So text to image is something that we're going to be covering because that is going to be covered under when we're talking about the different apps that will do text to image. Not only the apps that do text to image directly, but also there are newer apps that will stretch your picture, that will also let you turn yourself into, integrate you with something else. So for instance, I could take this QR code and a picture of myself and I can integrate them. So my face is the actual QR code. Does that make sense?
Nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they have programs that they have something called Ostagram. So if you get a chance when you hang up here, go to download Ostagram as an app and you'll go to it's OSTAGRAM. Instagram is an app that I use that allows me to pull my picture in and then pull a design in, whether it's a forest, whether it's a bowl of spaghetti, whether it's a picture of a puzzle, and I can merge my picture with that picture, and that is my background. And the severity of that is all controllable through dials that you click. So we're going to be covering things like that, and then text to image where you can talk. So that's something that you can do in Canva, Sergio. So in Canva, you can actually create images by saying, I want a picture of Superman standing on a moon holding a piece of cheese. And it will create the image of Superman standing on the moon holding a piece of cheese. And now you can use that image in whatever you're putting together. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Is that the
Yeah.
best text to image program you've seen so far, other than Midjourney or DALL-E?
No, I think Midjourney and DALL-E, those are some of the best ones right now, and I think those are going to remain the better ones in my opinion. The Ostagram isn't really text to image. Ostagram is really merging images, and then Canva's text to image. If I had to, without looking in their system, Sergio, I would tell you that they are probably using like a Midjourney to do it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Like even though Canva is allowing you to do it there, when you're doing it, it's probably using Midjourney software to create that image. Because Canva does that a lot. They have a lot of programs that they're actually using the other companies to do the program. It's just merged within them.
Right.
So
Okay.
I would say the DALL-Es and the Midjourneys, those are going to be the stronger ones. And we will be touching on Midjourney and DALL-E, just so you know, that's what we're going to be. But we're going to be touching on how to do text to image, how it's important, why it's important, and how you can create images for whatever you're doing, whether you're selling things, whether you're using it because you're creating some kind of post to lead generate, to create a bigger email list, whatever you're going to be doing with it. So yes, we are going to be touching text to image.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody else?
I have one more question in reference to this policy procedure. I have constant contact and I got the text part about it. I'm getting ready. Anyway, long story. And they have a policy where you have to have a privacy statement on the bottom of it, or in reference to the fact that you're texting. So people, because of the phone numbers that's involved in it. Yeah, do we have to have that too here in reference to sending it out?
Instead of the email?
Yeah, for the emails, right? Do we have to do anything with that privacy, or is we just put it together?
There's not a privacy, but with email, when you're sending out emails, what you have to do is you have to have your contact information on the bottom. So for instance, if you're using a MailChimp, like you use Constant Contact, so it's like that with Constant Contact. I'll use something that you're already using. Inside of Constant Contact, in order for you to start sending emails, you have to have a business address or some type of address that you have given Constant Contact, because when the email goes out from your system, from you, it has to have a way for people to unsubscribe, and it has to have an address for the person who's sending those emails. Does that make sense?
Yes, but not the emails, it's the text part. I have the text part, and I just, and so now the text part, the emails, they go okay. But but the new program they have is the texting, and the texting says you have to have a privacy and all this other stuff because it's phone numbers.
Right. So what's your question then?
My question is, if we enter into doing the same thing here, I'm just trying to compare, because I bought that text thing and I don't want to, it's just too involved in order for you to send it out and getting everybody to okay to text the other thing. So,
well, it should have an opt-in where you can send a text and say, is it okay to text you?
So just do the opt-in. Okay, so that'll work over here. Okay.
Yeah, and same thing, opt-in. Yeah, you're always doing the opt-in. So whatever we're doing, anything like this is always opt-ins that people. Now, my people have already done opt-ins, but yes, if it's a brand new person doing this or whatever, there's always opt-ins, whether it's text or whether it's email. Just you do an opt-in. The phones are a little bit more sensitive, so I normally send something, and I don't do a lot of text blasting, just so you know. But I used to have a text blaster a few years back, so I did do a lot of text blasting. And I would have to have them opt in and say it's okay to receive texts. They would have to send me back something that says yes or no, that they would confirm that I could send them text messages. But I don't do a lot of that anymore. Most of what I'm doing now is all email, all social media. I do send reminders via text sometimes. But again, those people have already opted in to receive text messages from me. I'm hoping that's answering your question.
That it does answer my question. It
Okay.
answers my question too. The texting is not really, I guess, the name of the game. So stay with the emailing. Okay.
Oh yeah, email marketing is better. To me, texting is better for reminders, right? Because people are more in front of their phones. So if you're going to do a program on Tuesday, then over the next 24 hours, I would say texting reminders would be better because the person might not see the email until it's too late. Some people don't even check their email daily. So as a reminder, I think text messages work better using the text blaster to remind people that there's something happening in an hour. As far as marketing through text, I'm still, and this is my opinion, this is not factual. I can't, I got no claims to it, but I'm an email marketer. So to me, I've had more success sending emails to people because they don't invade your privacy as much as a cell phone does. When I push an offer to your cell phone, it's almost like I invaded your space to sell you something through a text. Versus an email, when people go into their emails to read it, they don't feel as invaded, so to speak. So to me, marketing works better on email than it does text, and reminding people of what's coming up, whether it be a workshop or anything else, works better in text. That's my take on that.
That's good. That's a golden nugget there. Thank you, sir.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Anybody else? Any more questions? Going once? Going twice? Okay, good stuff. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen here.
Is there a replay of this or the one on the 24th?
Yeah. Well, the answer, the short answer is yes. This is a recording, and the other one recorded. The problem with the first recording is my video editor editing the video, but my voice was, so that's why I put headphones on this time. Something was wrong with my voice. My voice was distorted somehow in the systems, the software somewhere. I don't know what happened, where it happened, but he's trying to fix the way it sounds. So he hasn't given it back to me yet. That's why I did this one with headphones on, so I wouldn't have that problem. But once that comes back, yes, I did. They were both recorded, and you don't have to do anything to get it. Once it comes back, I'm going to send it to everybody who actually attended, because everybody who attended these or registered for them, they're on the list. So I'm going to send those replays out to people who are registered. So I'm going to do that automatically. So.
Okay, I couldn't do the 24th, but so if I could get this one and that one, that would be great. If not, I understand.
Oh, you can still get the other one. Just send an email to me. So there's an email that I sent out. If you're on this one, Estella, that means that you got the email to come here. Just go to one of those emails, and on the bottom of the email, it says, if you missed week 1, it tells you to email my assistant. Her name is Ava. So if you email her, it says ava@tddcoaching.net. When you email her, she's going to put you on the list to receive it when it comes.
Okay, great.
And she'll also email you back. When you email her, she's gonna email you back and let you know that you're gonna be receiving it as soon as you get it. So just go to one of the emails that I sent you over the last couple of days and scroll to the bottom of it, and you'll see where it has email Ava if you missed the July 24th presentation.
Okay, great.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you so much. This was very informative.
Thank you, and thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. Absolutely. Hey, Vanessa, I see your hand up.
I had two questions in the chat, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm over here trying to do all of this stuff at one time, and I can't even find my chat at this point. Hold on, let me see. I got stuff all over the place. Hold on. I got 3 screens up, several windows open. Let me see what you got here. So the question that you have, you're going to answer out loud, correct?
That's fine, yeah, thank you.
So is it Instagram? Yes, OSTAGRAM. So and they have a you can do it on your phone or on a computer. I don't think there's a hold on. I can't remember whether there's an actual app or whether I just have it on my phone. Let me check real quick because I know I have it here, but I can't remember whether it's an app or not. Yeah, don't look like I have it as an actual app of the App Store. I just went to it online and then put it on my phone. But it's called Instagram, and that's where you can merge. That's where you can merge the pictures at, and it's free. They do have a paid version. The paid version just moves faster. So if you use the free version, when you put those images in there and go to merge them, it may take 7 or 8 minutes for it to finish. If you have the paid version, it does it a lot faster. So far, that's all I've seen as a difference in the paid versus the free, is the speed in which it does it. So hopefully that answers the first question. Let me see this other question.
Yes, thank you. The PDFs from the last,
Oh, go ahead
training.
and ask it because I don't see it. There's so many questions in here.
The PDFs from the last training, I was unable to access it, and I'm not seeing them in your
Oh, okay. So
emails.
the raw PDFs, Vanessa, if you want me to just see the raw uncut ones that I had on the screen, yes, those are available. I actually have Ava doing putting it together through a resource guide that looks like this. So you see this cover on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
It's in the AI resource guide. So she's actually taking the PDFs and putting them in there, formatting them so that the whole resource guide covers week 1 and week 2. So she's doing that. But if you don't want to wait for that, if you just want what we went over, I have that as an outline. I could just send that to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's just a Google Doc that I turned into a PDF. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Thank
she
you.
wants to pretty everything up, so I let her.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and if I missed any other questions, guys, if you're still here and you want to ask it, go ahead. I couldn't get to. I was supposed to have somebody on here would be helping me, but they ended up having something to take care of, so they couldn't. So it was last minute. So I wasn't able to read through these like I wanted to when I originally set this up. So, any more questions? Going once? Going twice? All right, well, good stuff, guys. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. And where is my little? Yeah, I appreciate the 18 of y'all still staying this long. It's 10:10. Appreciate you guys sticking to stand with me through this. If you are interested in let me make sure you guys have the right, because if you don't use those scan codes, it's going to charge you full price. So hold on, let me drop something in a chat real quick. I'm going to unshare, stop my share, and I am going to drop. This is the two. I'm gonna drop the two payment discount in the chat. And then I'm going to drop the 1 payment discount in there. Where's it at? Hold on.
That's the $2.99.
Yeah, the 1 payment discount is $2.99. The 2 payment discount, and I say discount because the boot camp, I actually had the boot camp. I have it at a higher price than what it's being advertised as here. So and you'll see that when if you go in to pay for it, you'll see where it'll show you the regular price, then it'll show you the discount price. That's why I'm putting those links in there so that you guys will have those because they're on the scan polls. That's why I made the scan polls. But I know some people are going to do it not tonight, but another time. So I'm gonna put those in here. Then I'm also there. It'll also go out in emails as well. So for people who want it there. So I'm putting now this is the one payment. That's the code for the single payment there. That's the second link I just put there. So if you click on either one of those links, it'll pull up the offer for it and take you right in there to do that. And then once you enroll into it, then you're gonna start getting emails about how to set up, how to be prepared, and things of that nature. But again, it's gonna be every Monday for 8 weeks minus Labor Day. That's the week we're not gonna do it. So you guys have a fantastic rest of your night. Once this training comes back from my video editor, I will send it out to everybody who's registered for it. So don't worry about whether you're gonna be on the list. If you were here, or even if you registered and you weren't here, you're gonna still be on the list to receive it. So thank you guys for giving me y'all time this evening, for allowing me to go over like I do so much, because I always got more material to go over than I have time. So that's where it's at. You guys enjoy the rest of y'all's evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely.